So sit in a comfortable seated position. You can sit cross-legged or Virasana. Rest your hands on the tops of the thighs and close your eyes. And take a few deep breaths. Lift your belly and feel your collarbones widening. And drop your shoulder blades down your back. Just to help prepare for your practice, bring your hands up. We're going to do a mental centering. It's a heartful meditation technique. Bring your hands up, fingers together, hands slightly cupped next to your ears. And then on your exhalation breath, just gather your focus, the feeling of just realigning, rebalancing. Once the hands come together in front of the forehead, inhale. And then on your exhalation breath, allow your eyes to follow your hands until your thumbs rest on your sternum. Feel your breath behind your thumbs and your chest expanding. Just a feeling that you're rebalancing, realigning. And let's do one more. Bring your hands up next to your ears. Inhale. And then on your exhalation breath, gather your focus in. Inhale and then exhale, draw your eyes and your hands down. Changing your focus from looking outward to looking inward. And then inhale, lift your head. Gently open your eyes, release your hands. And then bring your hands up, Parvatasana. Interlock your hands overhead. Invert your palms and stretch your palms up towards the ceiling as you drop your chin. Do a big stretch here. Drop your sitting bones down and lift your palms towards the ceiling. Like you're yawning. And then exhale, release, stretching out through your palms. And then lift your belly and twist to the left. And then change sides. Inhale, lift your belly. Exhale, twist to the right. And then release. And if you're sitting on something, just move it to the side. Otherwise, just stretch your legs out in Dandasana. Contract your quadriceps. So you're contracting your quadriceps and pushing the backs of your knees towards the floor. Just pump. So you're activating your quads, activating your legs. Today's class is going to be focused mostly on the upper body, for the shoulders, upper back. And then bring your feet together in Baddha Konasana. Now it's okay if the feet are kind of far away from your pelvis, or if you can, bring it as close as is comfortable. It's also okay if the knees are up high, and some people, the hips can be quite tight. What's helpful is to sit on a block. If the knees are very high, you sit on a pad or a blanket, and then it's easier to sit upright. And then take your right hand onto your left knee, and again, twist, lift your belly, creating length. Turn your head to look over your shoulder, and then change sides. Inhale, lift your belly, creating length. Exhale, twist. And then release. Good. Take your knees, bring them together. Come onto your hands and your knees. You're just going to warm up your spine a little bit. Exhale, round your spine up. Inhale, round your spine down. And go back and forth with your breath. Reach the two ends of your spine apart from each other in both directions. Getting a full extension and a full flexion. Do one more up and one more down. This is a great way to start your practice. It just gets your spine a little more mobile. Good. Now to work on the shoulders. Stay in this position. Squeeze your shoulder blades together. Spread your shoulder blades apart. Squeeze your shoulder blades together. Spread your shoulder blades apart. So what it looks like is my shoulder blades are squeezing together and they're spreading apart. Squeeze and spread. Do a few more. Try to get as much range of motion as you can. Push through your hands to spread your shoulder blades. Pull your shoulder blades together to create a pinch in your upper back. Shoulders get tight. And the muscles start to stick together. And we get little knots. And so we're just freeing up tension. And then sit back on your knees and roll your shoulders one way. And then roll your shoulders another way. And then if you'd like to, you can roll your wrists one direction and then roll your wrists the other direction. Good. And then come back onto your hands and your knees. You can start with your hands under your shoulders and then walk your hands one hand length forward, tuck your toes, and come up into downward facing dog. Reach your sitting bones and your pelvis away from your hands. And then just like you separated your shoulder blades, you spread them apart when you were bringing them together and separating them. Spread your shoulder blades here. Wrap them around your rib cage. So your spine becomes long and wide. Inhale, look up. Exhale, step your right foot forward into lunge. This is just great for opening up your hip flexors. Lift your chin towards the ceiling. Feel a big stretch from your knee all the way through your chest to your throat. And then step back into downward facing dog. And step your other foot forward. Lean your hips forward, lift your belly, open your chest, lift your chin. And then step back into downward facing dog. Again, lift your sitting bones away from your hands and spread your shoulder blades. And then come down onto your hands and your knees and sit in any comfortable position. Bring your arms out to the side. And now you're going to bring your right arm up and imagine patting your back, the hand on the upper back. And then take your other hand, wrap it around, and see how close you can get your hands behind your back. And then release and change sides. We're just going to do this active range of motion. Your upper arm is going into external rotation. Your lower arm is going into internal rotation. This just helps mobilize your shoulders. Even if the hands can't touch, just get them as close as you can. Even if one is at the neck and one's at the lower back. It's totally fine. And do one more time on each side. And then release. Now, if your hands are very far apart, I want you to take a strap. It can be a belt, bathrobe tie, a yoga belt like this, and wrap it around your wrist. So the wrist is on the inside of the belt. And then you just hold the belt with the hand and bring your right elbow up Then what you want to do is catch the strap with your other hand and then walk your hands as close together as you can. Point your upper elbow towards the ceiling. Make that upper arm close to your cheek. And then drop your lower elbow towards the floor. So the elbows are moving in opposite directions. One more breath. If you can catch your hands here. This is Gomukhasana. Now, if you used a belt on one side, use the belt on the other side. Catch the belt with your wrist and hold with your hand. And then bring that elbow up. And then catch the belt in the back and walk your hands as close together as you can. Again, reach up through your upper elbow towards the ceiling. Reach down through your lower arm elbow towards the floor. And make sure that upper arm, the bicep, is close to your cheek. So the elbow isn't out to the side. One more breath. And then release. Good. Now, while we have the strap, take the strap out in front of you and then have a nice wide grip. Bring your arms up, back behind your head. Keep your arms straight and see how far back you can go without bending your elbows. And then bring the belt behind your buttocks and then up. If you need to bend your elbows here, widen your grip. And go back and forth and just go slowly once the arms get behind your head and you're really stretching your chest. And go back and forth a few more times. And just feel tension being released from your chest, your shoulders, your upper back. And do one more. And then release. And put your belt to the side. Now, come to a nice seated position that's ever comfortable. You could kneel as well or stand. And bring your elbows out in front of you. And your elbows are shoulder width apart and your upper arms are parallel to each other. The forearms are parallel to each other. Now bring your elbows back behind your torso and then up towards your head. So do this motion. Pull your elbows back, squeeze your shoulder blades together. And then lift your elbows as high as you can towards the ceiling. And go back and forth. Now, as the elbows reach up, there's a tendency for that rib cage to want to come forward. So tuck your bottom ribs back. I'm going to do this one more time. Good. Now, if you have a yoga block, hold the yoga block between your palms. So one hand on each side. And you want the widest, so the hands are on the shortest side of the block and the block is at the widest between the hands. And then again, come back and then lift up. And then go back and forth. And just working on shoulder mobility. And then do one more. Good. Now come back to your block or your belt and make a loop with your belt so that the buckle is on one side. You can tie it or use a belt buckle. And then make sure again that the elbows are shoulder width apart, forearms are parallel. We're going to do the same thing with the belt. Now you're going to push out into the belt, left, right. And then bring the elbows down. You'll run the belt into your torso so you can't go back very far with your elbows. And then lift the arms up. Oh. And then down. And again, you're spreading your upper arms apart. Spread your upper arms apart. Just feel how the different movements engage your muscles in different ways. The belt might also bump into your forehead. That's okay. You just want the belt just above your elbow. Again, tucking your bottom ribs back. Last one. And then release. Good. Now we're going to combine everything that we just did for a Pinchamayurasana prep. So remember we came into downward facing dog. Come into downward facing dog again. Tuck your toes, lift your sitting bones. Spread your shoulder blades. And then come down onto your hands and your knees. Now you're going to drop your elbows. We were just doing that a moment ago. Make sure the elbows are shoulder width apart, your forearms are parallel. And then tuck your toes and come back into downward facing dog. This is Pinchamayurasana prep. And then lift your sitting bones towards the ceiling. Spread your shoulder blades apart without your elbows moving apart. Keep your elbows parallel to each other. And you're doing that same movement that we were working on earlier. The elbows overhead. Getting greater range of motion in your shoulders. Hold for as long as you can to make it more intense. You can walk your feet in. Straighten out the legs as much as you can. And don't let your head fall forward. Keep the space between your elbow and your torso open, so you're not collapsing forward. One more breath. You can step in again if you want to. And then release and come down and rest in Balasana. And then place the hands underneath your shoulders. Push yourself up. And then spread, draw your feet forward into Dandasana. And then lie down on your back. We're going to do a very short Shavasana. Separate your feet, hip width apart. Glide your shoulder blades away from your ears and apart from each other. You take 10 breaths. Each exhalation, allow your body to drop down. Each inhalation, bring in a feeling of a smile into your body. It's important. Know how to relax. Help reset your nervous system. And take 3 more breaths. Smiling on your inhalation, filling your body or any part that feels tense with a smile. And exhaling, releasing any tension. Take your last inhalation, last exhalation. And then bend your knees one at a time. Roll to your side. And then push yourself up.